Tonight's broadcast is made possible by Strack & Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Crowell Insurance Company, the insurance superheroes. Ironworkers Local 395, proud to be union. Four Seasons Mechanical, quality and comfort is our guarantee. Boilermakers Local 374, earn while you learn. IBEW Local 697, proud to support high school sports. Bricklayers Local 4, the best hands in the business. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. The Right Group, the right way to buy and sell real estate. Mark Macknick, Chicagoland Tax Professionals. Blythe's Team Sports, where the athlete shops. And Hampton Inn, downtown Indianapolis. This is the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Game Night in the Region on the Region Sports Network. We come to you tonight from Crown Point High School as the Region Sports Network presents live video coverage of Indiana high school boys basketball as the Lake Central Indians take on the Crown Point Bulldogs. I'm Andrew Mild, and I'll have the play-by-play for tonight's action, and joining me with the color analysis is Jay Simmons. Good evening, Jay.
Welcome to senior night here, Andrew. It's going to be a fun night. It looks like the crowd's filling in pretty nicely. We've got Lake Central 10-9 taking on the Bulldogs 17-1, and they're one game away from clinching the Doolin Conference all by themselves if they don't stumble tonight.
Crown Point has had a share of the DAC the last 2 years, split it with a few teams last year, split it with Valparaiso in 2023, but they're 6-0. They are red hot. They've had a 3-game winning streak ever since they lost the 21st Century, coming off a massive win against the Valparaiso Vikings where they won by 27. Me and Jay are going to step aside as they have senior night tonight, so the ceremonies are about to start. So tune on in and watch the senior night here from Crown Point High School.
Give it up for Austin Moore. Next up we got Mason Darrow. He's left for the student section leader. Future plan for playing basketball at Belmont University. Favorite ever being trained by 30 in the section championship sophomore year. Most proud constant regional titles. Invites the other players. Just listen to the coaches. They're there to help you get better. Give it up for Mason Darrow. Next up, we got Chad Lutz. He's back from Mount Maryland. That's City Lights. He's off the ball that better comes from a Bulldog mentor. Future plan for our side. Favorite network, hotel rooms, bus rides. Most proud confident making the size of the areas. His advice to younger players: don't take it for granted. Give it up for Jack Lutz. Next up, we got Bryce Peters. He's also by man Peters, Brian Peters, great job Peters. He's also involved in athletic concert and kudos. Future plan for us, his favorite memory is playing a sold-out regional game at Michigan City against Portage. His most proud confident making the Summit State going undefeated this summer. His advice to the younger players: defense, focus on what you control, like effort and attitude, rather than results like shots made for this. Give it up for Bryce Peters. King of all has a constant high-high sport. He's the most proud accomplishment to win the Hall of Fame Classic. For the Kingston swing back section regionals. Take class. Work hard, smart, and off the board. Kingston, it's marathon, not a sprint. There are going to be ups and downs, injuries, tough games, moments where you feel low. But if you stay the course, keep working, it all adds up. Give it up for Caden and Kingston Road. Finally, we have the Pivot Shaw. He's involved in athletic counseling, the Bulldog Network. His future plans for attending the University of Chicago. Senior memory is being sectional for the first time. His most proud counselor, winning regions last year. His advice to younger players: appreciate these moments with your teammates while they have them. Give it up for Kevin Shaw. Now we have our cheerleaders here. First up is Morgan Bennett. Morgan been a member of the varsity cheerleading team for 4 years. Member of NHS, Bulldog mentors, best buddies, unified track, 30-mile run, and pass. After high school, Morgan plans on attending St. Mary's College and Notre Dame for secondary education biology. She also plans to try out the Notre Dame cheerleading team this year. Favorite cheerleader week. All of us ready to teammates by the end of the first start team of the state, plays forward that UCA national team. Morgan like to thank her family for pushing the cheer like champion. Coaches for helping her become a better athlete and person, and her team for turning all the tough practice to the best memories. Morgan Bennett. Next up, we got Lily Campbell. She's by a great captain this summer, sister Jamie. Lily's been a member of the varsity cheerleading team for 4 years. Lily's also a member of the 25-26 All-State cheerleading team. She's a member of the National Honor Society and Athletic Council. After high school, Lily plans to attend Purdue University and major in speech language and technology. She'll also be cheering for you next fall. Lily would like to thank her coaches for pushing her, the team for making memories, and her family for always supporting her. Lily Campbell. Next up, we got Marlena Hammond. That's for our Marlena's been a member of the varsity cheerleading team for 4 years. Also a member of the National Honor Society. After high school, Marlena plans on attending Purdue University, aspiring to be a veterinarian. Favorite cheerleading is good. She had it on the Team 1 stick for the first time last fall. She'd like to thank her coaches, family, and friends for making every practice, game, and competition unforgettable. Supporting her every step of the way. Marlena Hamlin. Next we have Cassie Peterson. That's from my parents, Bob and Joy, brother Nathan and sister Monica. After high school, Cassie goes to cheer at Buckler University and major in health sciences to become a radiologist. Her favorite cheer memory is going to Disney with her team for nationals. Cassie would like to thank her mom, dad, coaches, and teammates for always pushing her to your best. Cassie Peterson. And I've got Nancy. First up, we have Elise Clark. That's from our grade 7. She's going to be attending Indiana University and majoring in human biology. If Dave's in college, just like an expert club team. Give it up for Elise Clark. Next up, we have Kendall Friedan. Let's go by Neil Ashley, your brother's language and Noah. She'll be attending the University of Cincinnati and majoring in exercise science. Kendall signed at the University of Cincinnati dance team and we dance there next year. Kendall Friedan. Next up is Bailey Finnerty. That's from our And he signed with the Western Kentucky University dance team. He's dancing here next year. That's Madeline Rodriguez. Next up is Peyton Victor. She's escorted by her parents and inheriting her brother, Evan. She'll be attending either Indiana University or the University of Alabama. Her intended major is nutrition with a minor in business. Peyton Victor. And finally, we have Grace Zamora. She's escorted by her mother, Kate Zamora, and her sisters, Julia and Victoria. She'll be attending IU Bloomington, where she wants to major in biology to pursue a career as a physician assistant. Yeah. Congratulations to all of these seniors and their dedication to the Ground Point High School basketball, cheerleading, and dance programs.
Have you heard? Stratton Mantel was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Stratton Mantel.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. If you're a contractor, it's my job to make your insurance coverage simple and affordable. Because I know time is money, I'll come to your business. Certificates and bonds are a snap. Wherever you are, whatever business you're in, we've got you covered. As Crowd Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowd Company's Insurance Professionals, Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work. You're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Sometimes the hardest part of improving your business isn't coming up with a great idea. It's knowing what to do with it. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services is ready to meet all your industrial and commercial construction needs. Whether it's a small build-out or a complete construction project, Chester will design, build, and finance. Our team eliminates multiple contractors, providing you a single point of contact while staying within your budget. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services, turning your ideas into realities.
Located in the heart of downtown Indianapolis, the newly renovated Hampton Inn is within walking distance to over 30 restaurants and attractions, including Lucas Oil Field and Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a fitness center. Why wait? Make your reservations today. Call 317-261-1200 or make them on the web at hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.
Old Man Winter is just around the corner, and that means temperatures will soon begin to drop. And a region winter is not the time to be left out in the cold. The professionals at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling can tune up that old furnace or install a new unit that can last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable this winter, and with 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, 219-923-4441. Or for more info, the website is forajobdoneright.com.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
When it comes to your money, you deserve more than just numbers on a page. You deserve someone who sees the full picture. Meet Mark Machnick, one of Northwest Indiana's most trusted accounting professionals. Whether you're running a business, planning for retirement, or just trying to make sense of tax season, Mark Machnick, located in Highland, makes it simple, personal, and believe it or not, painless. Contact Mark and his team today at 219-595-5290. Mark Machnick, CPA.
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.
On-Site Generator Solutions is a locally owned and operated power partner for Northwest Indiana homes. With over 14 years of experience, they handle tasks such as generators, residential electric, plumbing, automotive care, and more. You can find them on Facebook. Give them a call at 219-516-6800 or search them up on the web at onsitegeneratorsolutions.com. On-Site Generator Solutions. Power you could count on, every time, everywhere. At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT.
Hi, my name is Mark Machnick. I'm the owner of Mark Machnick CPA firm in Highland, Indiana on Kennedy Avenue. I've been working with Region Sports for years now. Started working with Chris years ago, just on some special projects, advertising here and there. After a while, kind of increased the advertising. Mainly was doing it for the community involvement. It's such a great network and program they do with the high school sports. But as time went by, I started getting on there more frequently. And then the phone starts ringing. And I was getting calls all the time from people. Hey, I saw your ad on so-and-so football game. I saw your ad on a basketball game. And it's really helped my business. It's increased the volume. We're a tight community in Northwest Indiana, sports-wise, and just a lot of community involvement. So that's mainly why I got into it. I remember watching one game. It was a basketball game, and I think there was a little bit of an altercation. And as the altercation was happening, my ad was right on the bottom, and someone typed in, "I wonder what Mark Machnick's thinking right now." And I was thinking, "Wow, this is awesome." It's really been a great feature for my business. It's the only advertising I do. I don't advertise anywhere else other than Region Sports. it's for the business, but mainly for the involvement with the community. I played high school baseball here in Highland, and ever since I've been advertising on Region Sports, a lot of my old coaches are now my clients. A lot of my old teammates come in here. My recommendation, if you're a business here in Northwest Indiana, I think Region Sports is, for your money, it's one of the best places that you advertise. I mean, I can advertise on billboards. I could do anywhere I want to. And I choose Region Sports mainly because I get a lot of feedback, especially on the high school level. A lot of the parents, if they can't make a game, they're watching it online. They're watching a replay, the grandparents. So it's done wonders for my business, and it's my go-to for advertising. It's the only spot I would advertise. So if you're a business owner in the area, really look into advertising on Region Sports. It's going to be well worth your money, and you'll make tenfold on what you're spending. Region Sports Network, they're the only game in town, but they're more than just a game.
Sick of winter? Golf season is almost here. Book the cabin and enjoy the region's best all-inclusive private golf getaway, featuring 2 rounds at Innsbrook Country Club, plus dinner, breakfast, and cozy lodging, all for just $500 per person.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
The game night forecast is brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Tonight's forecast is 31, feels like 13. So in other words, Jay, so much for those summer days that we were getting earlier.
How about it?
Someone called that a false spring to go right back into the winter time. That's the Friday night forecast brought to you by Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. With a 24/7 emergency service, comfort isn't far away. Andrew Mild with Jay Simmons on the Region Sports Network from Crown Point High School. Senior night for CP. And what a way and what an opportunity, Jay, for Crown Point tonight to cap off their last home game of the year. Of course, they'll be here for sectionals in a few weeks, but they can walk away with their 3rd straight DAC championship, the first time becoming the undisputed champions of the conference. But not only that, it would also be the first time they've ever went undefeated in DAC play.
That would be a great way to cap off a great season. Like we talked about, their only blemish was to Gary 21st Century. They lost 74-60, and Coach Swan just sort of said, they just had a bad game, and it was, he just chalked it up as that. And luckily, it wasn't a conference game that they had a bad game, but they are on a roll ever since, beating Portage 75-57. Portage coming in undefeated at that point. Andrean 80-33, and then Valparaiso 78-51 at Valparaiso. So they are rolling ever since.
Yeah, just for the people that want to know what the average margin of victory during that time frame is, I already did the math for you. 30.7. So it was really a wake-up call for them to lose the 21st Century Charter. And you talk about the Valpo game. I want to revisit that before we start breaking down the Lake Central Indians. M.J. Wilson, a sophomore, and an abundance of stars on this Crown Point team, put on a show. If you didn't watch that Valpo game, go back and watch this sophomore really turn into a star. He scored 33 points off the bench, 13 for 16 from the field, 4 for 4 from 3. And here's the thing, Jay, about that performance from downtown. He only made 2 threes all year in 22 attempts.
Ow. So that's building up your confidence.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden, for Coach Swan, he's got another arrow in his quiver to bounce back on. I've seen him play several times throughout the season. He's either or. He was either really good or he was really not so good. And that's typical sophomore. you're going to have a roller coaster events going on out there. And he, like I said, he puts in some great defensive minutes, and then he throws in, peppering here and there, some great offensive moments as well.
Yeah, Coach Swan talked about MJ's performance, and what Coach Swan said was that for Wilson to grow, he needed to learn that he could do more on the floor than just make shots. So you're talking about it. For Wilson, his confidence was either relying on his shots going down or missing, but once he realized that he can play defense, he can rebound, he can facilitate, that he can still make an impact on the game as a sixth man, especially when you have other stars that can pick you up in the scoring column. Going over to the LC side, it's been a rough year for the Indians. They're 10-9, which isn't a bad record, but they're 1-5 in the DAC. That is dead last. And they just snapped a 5-game losing streak with a 65-36 win against Hammond Central. Jay, you've watched this Lake Central team pretty closely this year. What's really happened to them in DAC play that has led to the 1-5 record?
Well, it's sort of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They start out the season 6-0, and then last 7 games are 1-6. Coach Sexton said they have picked it up the last 4 games. The 2 previous games before that, they only scored 31 and 35 respectively, then putting up 57, 56, 68, and 65. So all of a sudden the offense has bounced back, but it's against an extremely quality competition. They just didn't match up well when they lost at home to Michigan City in overtime. But the fight in that team was unbelievable. They were down 14 points at the start of the fourth quarter against Michigan City and came back and tied it up and played valiantly in overtime, but they just ran out of players. They had a couple guys foul out, so they really had to dig deep into their bench, which they usually don't do. And they just came up a little bit short on a turnover at midcourt with 5 seconds left, and Michigan City scored as the buzzer was going off. But they just seem to be playing better now, so at least the ship has turned in the right direction for Lake Central over the last few games with their scoring. Now defensively, they're going to have to step it up, and they're going to have to step it up big time tonight.
Yeah, you said it before we went on air, and it's also what Coach Sexton said about his team. They want to be able to beat Crown Point. They just got to make shots. And you said that from downtown, their three-point shooting ability has been the part that's been inconsistent and really hurt them in games. Otherwise, they've been really good down low, and Coach Swan says we have to find a way to be able to push them out of the paint and not let them score within the 10 feet.
Yeah, definitely. They've got to stay away from letting Noah Inyart control the offensive end for Lake Central. They got to push that ball outside. Lake Central's three-point percentage has been dropping quite a bit since that 6-0 start, and now it's leveled off, and now they're shooting at about 33%. They were down to like 30% until the last few games, so they've been bringing it back. They've got to be able to be more consistent when they get their open looks.
I want to talk about two-star players before we take a break. We'll start with LC since you already mentioned him. Noah Inyart, what a season this senior has had. He's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal a game. In his last game against Hammond Central, he filled up the box score, recording his 7th double-double and his 3rd in a row with 26 points and 11 rebounds. Jay, what makes this senior so special?
I think one of the keys for Noah Inyart is he can get the ball in the post and deal from in there, but he is also just as effective when he gets the ball and dribble drives and either pulls up or he takes it all the way to the hole, and he'll draw a lot of fouls. He is 71% from the charity strike, and he is also a little bit amazingly, he is 76% from the three-point line, 20 of 25 on the season. So when he does decide to shoot it from the three-point line, which is not very often, he is very effective.
For Crown Point, their star has always been number 23, Dikembe Shaw, a commit to the University of Illinois, Chicago. As we said, MJ Wilson really filled up in the scoring column, but Dikembe Shaw had a quiet 15 points, which is very respectable. But what he did, Jay, is he facilitated really well, passing out 5 assists. He's averaging 20 points, 6 rebounds, just a smidge under 3 assists. He's really putting a cap on an incredible high school career before he goes to D1 basketball next year.
Yeah, definitely. And he's got that inside-outside game. He shoots 35% from the three-point line. So he's just as comfortable standing at the three-point line if you're going to give him that look. If you run the defense out to him, then he's able to take the drive and either stop and pop, or take the ball all the way to the rim. He is very effective, just like Noah Inyard off the dribble as well.
It's going to be a busy night here on the Region. Not only this game on the Region Sports Network, we'll also have LaPorte at Portage and Valparaiso at Chesterton. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Have you heard? Stratton Manteau was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Stratton Manteau.
Hi, I'm Crowell Company's Lantern Man. If you're a contractor, it's my job to make your insurance coverage simple and affordable. Because I know time is money, I'll come to your business. Certificates and bonds are a snap. Wherever you are, whatever business you're in, we've got you covered. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Company's insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work. You're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Sometimes the hardest part of improving your business isn't coming up with a great idea. It's knowing what to do with it. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services is ready to meet all your industrial and commercial construction needs. Whether it's a small build-out or a complete construction project, Chester will design, build, and finance. Our team eliminates multiple contractors, providing you a single point of contact while staying within your budget. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services, turning your ideas into realities.
Located in the heart of downtown Indianapolis, the newly renovated Hampton Inn is within walking distance to over 30 restaurants and attractions, including Lucas Oilfield and Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a fitness center. Why wait? Make your reservations today. Call 317-261-1200 or make them on the web at hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point athletics and say Go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Enjoy open skate at the Timothy Gurish Ice Rink at Bulldog Park through February, weather permitting. For a complete schedule of hours, visit crownpoint.in.gov. Andrew Mild with Jay Simmons. And Jay, I think everyone wants to know, can you ice skate?
No. Bad ankles.
So we can't take you over to the Timothy Gurish ice rink right now, and you wouldn't be able to do it?
No.
I can honestly say I've never ice skated myself. Something about falling down and then blades being around me doesn't seem like a very good idea.
I would have 2 broken wrists by the end of 5 minutes.
I would probably have to go see the dentist. Me and Jay are going to step aside, but we'll stay right here as the national anthem is about to start, as it's the Lake Central Indians and the Crown Point Bulldogs. Be sure to stay connected with all things Region Sports by supporting and following us on social media. We're always active on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, and online at regionsports.com. Celebrating over 25 years, we're proud to still be the only game in town. Andrew Mild, Jay Simmons from Crown Point High School senior night, packed crowd as LC fans have shown out some blue over here in this far corner and a lot of red. That student section is full of Crown Point Bulldogs. And Jay, they're about to announce the starting lineup for the Lake Central Indians. This is going to be a really tough crowd to play against.
Yes, it is. And the student body for Crown Point has shown up. And, of course, they've got their backs turned as Lake Central is being introduced. You got Cooper Cronky, Christian Martinez, number 1. Number 24, Jacob Biltmeyer. Number 11, David Aguilar. And number 33, Noah Inyard.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about Noah Inyard in the start of the pregame show. But going over to Jacob Biltmeyer, he's also had a really good year, averaging just under a dozen points, 3 rebounds. And then against Hammond Central, he had 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 steals. He's been a good shooter for LC at some points, and it's not going to just take one guy to be able to beat this Crown Point team who's ranked number 2 in the state.
Yeah, Biltmeyer, the game I did against Michigan City, he was the blue-collar player of the game. I think he had a season high of 24 points that night. Noah Inyard was stymied by the center from Michigan City coming in at 6'8", so Noah Inyard wasn't able to score. Biltmeyer picked up the points from there on. He put Lake Central on their backs in that game.
And this game is also important, not just because it's a rivalry matchup. Crown Point has a chance to secure themselves a DAC championship as the undisputed champions, but also Sectional 1 will also feature Crown Point and LC alongside the 2 Hammond schools, Central, Morton, and Munster. So, Jay, Crown Point and LC might be facing off against each other in a few weeks, so it's good for one of these teams to show just how dominant they are and have some confidence going into that possible game.
Oh, definitely. What do you think? Do you think both of these teams are going to play it close to the vest? Are they going to show something new out there, or are they going to save it for sectionals? They're going to show a different press, a different zone. It's going to be interesting to see if they just stand pat and run through some of their old offenses, old out-of-bounds plays and such not. or do they try and run a few things, give the coaches something extra to worry about?
For Crown Point, they're having their starters being announced. They are coached by Clint Swan. His 20th year with CP, and their starting lineup will go as this: Kingston Rhodes, who's back after he's missed numerous games, 9 games, after he got injured in the Michigan City game back on January 9th. It will also be Mason Darrell, Bryce Peters, Dikembe Shaw, and Cooper Malasky. So Crown Point also breathing a sigh of relief, as last week Bryce Peters had a Valpo player fall on him, and he had his right knee iced. He had a week to recover. He's good to go. So the starting 5 for Crown Point, where they started with to start the year, is getting to play together at full strength for the first time tonight in over a month.
Yeah, Caden Rhodes was player of the game against Portage.
Yes.
An outstanding performance.
The opening tip is won by Dikembe Shaw, and the Crown Point Bulldogs. Kingston Rhodes will be at the point.
It looks like Lake Central's coming out in a 2-3 zone to start it off.
Crown Point, a good perimeter shooting team.
One key, I think, for Lake Central is definitely to keep no Inyard clean in terms of fouls.
You said that in that Michigan City game, that if they had enough players and enough strength, they most likely would have won that game in overtime. But a couple of players fouled out, so they had short hands. Mason Darrell, the senior for Crown Point. Shaw, corner 3, buries it. A patient start to the game for Crown Point as they ran off for about 45 seconds. They knocked down the trifecta from the right corner, and the Dogs are on the board first.
Yeah, definitely good patience offensively for the Bulldogs right there.
LC's turn to go up against this Crown Point defense that is in man-to-man. Inyard attacking against Malasky, gets to the cup, and a tough finish for the senior.
Yeah, a lot of contact right there for Inyard, fights through it.
Crown Point pushing it up the floor. Shaw with the ball, just hit a 3. This is a long 2. Nothing but net for Shaw. He's up to 5 points.
Well, when he elevates on his shot, he goes over the top of the defense.
Yeah, you're signaling to me 2 for Shaw, and it's hard to miss where his feet are, where he's wearing hot pink shoes on his senior night. 3 from LC. High arcing shot off to the right, missed by Kroenke. Offensive rebound corralled in, and Inyard has 4 points.
Well, it's a show of the big men to start here tonight.
Well, that was something that Ryan Sexton, the head coach of this LC squad, mentioned, is that they need to compete on the glass, and that's a good start when you can knock down a second chance look. The Dogs lead by 1 early. Rhodes attacking. Short corner, Malasky. Darrell down the lane. Floater. And Crown Point starts the game 3 for 3.
And Darrell does a nice job right there slicing the 2-3 defense.
The Bellarmine commit at 7 points against Valparaiso. And even when CP was up by 20, corner 3, and we're tied at 7. Nobody can miss right now. That was Jacob Billmeyer.
Both offenses coming out red hot.
Nobody can miss. Only 1 missed shot so far. Shaw in the post, finishes with the left hand. What a move by Dikembe Shaw. He has 7 out of the 9 Crown Point points. Aguilera having a hard time going up against Kingston Rhodes, who's right in his chest. Inyard has the ball ripped away.
Stolen.
Darrell elevates, and he lost it, was still able to get the layup. But Mason Darrell was looking to rip the rim down.
Looks like he was trying to dunk it as he was going up, just slipped right out of his hands.
And that's when you start to panic a little bit. You got a full crowd, and you just throw it up there and hope.
Yeah, Kroenke right there with a nice play, bounces it off.
But every time someone talks about Mason Darrell, they use the same words: fiery, competitor, just tenacious at everything he does. When Crown Point was up by 20 against Valpo, he was the only starter out there. And then when Coach Swan said, all right, that's enough, we already lost 1 starter for the game, and that shot rims out for Inyard, he basically had to be dragged off the floor. So that kind of tells you what type of leader Darrell is.
He doesn't leave anything to chance on the floor, does he?
No. And he'll let the referees know if he doesn't like a call. Crown Point swinging it around. Rhodes, the head fake to the block. He's hit, and Kingston Rhodes will go to the line. And I've seen this now a few times, Jay. They've gotten it to the short corner over here for Cooper Mulaski, which has allowed this right side of the zone to collapse over there, and Crown Point skip passes it, and they've had some players wide open on this side.
Yes, they have great offensive movement by Crown Point, getting it, and then right there, was Rhodes miss it? Rhodes had the three-pointer, gave the head fake, took the ball to the hole, and drew the first foul on Noah Inyard.
Crown Point shoots 32% from behind the arc this year, but they have a lot of different players that can shoot it. Rhodes being one of them. And that's Rhodes' first point in a long time. And Kingston will go out for Caden Rhodes.
And like I said, Caden Rhodes, Crown Lantern Man superhero of the game a few weeks ago here.
Well, what makes this Crown Point team so dangerous is just how far down their bench they can go and still have quality players. As Kroenke got rid of it before he fell into a trap as Shaw came over to help. There's a steal. Mulaski, 3-on-1. He misses the easy layup into the lap of Caden Rhodes, and Rhodes cleans up the mess.
Rhodes, good hustle play right there, being able to pick up the loose rebound and put it back in. Wait, you notice Crown Point has extended the defense all the way down, and Michael Wilson coming in, MJ, as they got it listed here on the score sheet.
MJ Wilson scored 45 points last week. He had 12 against Andrain, 33 against Valpo. That's an average of 22.5 points when he went into the week averaging somewhere around the high sevens. So an impressive week for Wilson. LC feeds the post. Enyart against Shaw. Two star players that have filled up the buckets so far, and Shaw gets the arm of Enyart. He'll go to the line for two.
Boy, those two guys just on that possession right there, Enyart and Shaw really battling physical underneath that basket.
Noah Enyart has been on fire himself. You talked about their offense finally gaining some life, and it's come from this senior averaging 23 points and just under 11 rebounds in the last 3 games. And you said this LC team has looked drastically different since Enyart has taken over.
Enyart 0 for 2, normally a 71% free throw shooter.
It's tough to shoot on that end with the Crown Point students yelling at you.
The ESPN table?
Yes. Caden Rhodes with a strong take, and he'll fill up the cup for 2. 9-point lead for CP.
And nice job, Enyart, now picking up a second foul right there.
Good awareness by the senior to understand he's worth a lot, as there's a rejection by MJ Wilson. Crown Point pushing the tempo. Rhodes, Peters, the bump in the bucket. What a pass by Caden Rhodes to penetrate the defense. Bounce pass to Peters, and Bryce Peters will go to the line for an old-fashioned 3-point play.
And that was one of the keys, Coach Swan, was the tempo. Get this ball moving up and down the court, extending the defense full court, pressing the ball as they come up on a defensive rebound. Great job, and then catching Lake Central off guard.
It all started with an MJ Wilson rejection at the rim. Missed free throw by Bryce Peters. He'll keep it in a 11-point game with under 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter. LC's offense came out hot. They have struggled since then. Enyart trying to create some space down low, and a travel is called.
Good call by the officials.
Went into the chest of MJ Wilson, and Wilson pulled the chair out from underneath him, and Enyart took a few steps there, and even some of the Crown Point fans were calling it before the back referee.
You mean the table of officials sitting right there?
We're actually broadcasting, and the Crown Point students are acting like they are broadcasting. Thank you for tuning in to the Region Sports Network. Wilson from downtown. No, Rhodes not boxed out, and he'll get a second chance look. And MJ Wilson's come off the bench and has scored 6 points. Coach Clint Swan incredibly happy what he's seen from his senior. We have a timeout It's a full timeout, so we'll take a 30-second break. It's game night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work, you're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
Old Man Winter is just around the corner, and that means temperatures will soon begin to drop. And a region winter is not the time to be left out in the cold. The professionals at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling can tune up that old furnace or install a new unit that can last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable this winter, and with 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, 219-923-4441. Or for more info, the website is forajobdoneright.com.
Back on the Region Sports Network, Andrew Mile with Jay Simmons and Crown Point running the full court press. And LC able to break it with Noah Inyart. Inyart now trapped, jumps up to pass it, finds Kroenke. Three-pointer set up for Martinez, and it's all net.
Good ball movement by Lake Central. Once they got it, Noah Inyart got it out of the corner.
Wilson attacking baseline. Shaw looking to respond. He does! Dikembe Shaw with 10 points in the first quarter.
Shaw from downtown, from the square in Crown Point, shoots that one in.
Almost NBA level three for Dikembe Shaw. Geller off the bench. He shoots a three and too much on it. Crown Point up 13 after the Shaw three. Jack Lux has checked in for CP.
Right, CP is really rotating starters in and out.
Shaw stepping to the side, heaves one up, got nothing. Rhodes able to deter it back to Peters. Peters' pass was deflected by Aguilera, found Lux. Rhodes block, out Lux. Wilson from downtown, and Crown Point is raining threes on the Indians.
They're just red hot.
MJ Wilson, who had 4 threes in their last game against Valpo, is now on the board. Inyart steps inside the line, mid-range jumper off to the left. Good contest by Dikembe Shaw.
First time I've seen Crown Point just sort of settle it down and walk the ball up the court.
They're really spacing out this LC defense.
And they've been able to find some seams in the middle.
Bryce Peters directing traffic. Sends Lux to the other side. 20 seconds left. And
they're going to hold for the last shot, except for now.
They're not, because MJ Wilson just hit his second three.
Hey, if you give me an open look, I'm going to take it.
Crown Point with the steal. Peters lobs it for Wilson. Crown Point's up 21 points. They went on an incredible run to close out the opening quarter. What a start. The buzzer sounds. We'll take a break as we go to the second quarter. Crown Point 31, LC 10. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
Calling all current and future homeowners in the Northwest Indiana area. Whether you're buying or selling, Brent Wright is here to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. With years of experience, personalized service, and a deep knowledge of the market, Brent will help you find the perfect place or get the best deal for your property. Call today at 219-406-7195 and take the first step toward your real estate goals. Contact Brent Wright, the right way to buy and sell real estate.
You're watching Indiana High School boys basketball on the Region Sports Network. A Strachan Van Til hometown scoreboard update. Chesterton up 15-6 against Valparaiso in the second quarter. And then for LaPorte and Portage, the Slicers lead by 2. Score here, Crown Point 31, LC 10, and Jay, Crown Point went on a big run to close out that opening quarter.
Yeah, that was one of Coach Sexton's things. Hey, we cannot let them go on a 10-0 run at any point in the game, and they just popped one off right there at the end of the first.
Opening shot is a miss from Cooper Kroenke. Crown Point in transition, and a foul committed by Kroenke. That will send Reed Kagi to the line.
Crown Point is going super deep into their bench tonight.
Well,
and I think a lot of it has to do with what Coach Swan said, the tempo. He wants to wear Lake Central down, make them go deep into their bench, and they are doing it, and doing it with a lot of different people.
What's really impressive about watching this Crown Point team is you can count on one hand how many times they dribble when they try and get that tempo up, and that's how they beat you. They understand that the ball moves faster than when you're just dribbling it and trying to break someone with your handles. And right there, Crown Point got the rebound, put you down the KG, got LC in a really tough spot, and it led to him going to the line.
Yeah, they just are so good at getting that ball up and down the court. And like you said, Andrew, with very few dribbles. Hey, we got another scoring update for you Hoosier basketball lovers. We've got Purdue 23, IU 14 in the middle of the first half.
March Madness coming up very shortly. The Big Ten tournament should also be coming up in a few weeks. That is a tough take and a tough finish, but Jacob Billmeyer gets the first points for LC in the second quarter.
Wow, what a nice take by Billmeyer.
Billmeyer had a 3. Now that layup, he's up to 5 points. Cuts the Crown Point lead to 20. Lux, a good shooter, was dribbling out of the corner and stepped on the line. It will be a CP turnover.
Yeah, Lake Central's just got to be more consistent. They've been getting some open looks from the three-point line, but yet they just have not been able to bury them.
LC coming off an impressive win against Hamilton Central by 29 points, where they shot 50%. And they're trying to build off of that, get a conference win against Crown Point, the team they could be seen in sectionals.
Yeah, definitely. And you're talking about sectionals. These two teams right here in sectional number 1.
A hold by Mason Darrell down in the post with Noah Inyart.
And you look at sectional 1, you've got Lake Central, Crown Point. In there also is Munster, Hammond Central, and Morton. Should be an interesting sectional 1, to say the least.
Crown Point already has wins against Munster and Hammond Central. Their next game is at Hammond Morton. So they'll be playing all the teams in their sectional before they even see them in the sectional, which is hosted here. In the corner for 3. Line drive 3 goes over the basket. Rebounded by Jacob Billmeyer. Billmeyer with only 2 points for LC in this second quarter. He takes it, floats it, and he misses it. Good defense by Reed Kagi. Darrell, transition 3, and he is hit hard.
He is blindsided by number 31.
That'll be Hayden Becker, a freshman, committing a freshman-type foul.
That one you just got to, put down, check that box off as a freshman and say, hey, you got to learn from that mistake.
Oh, they're going to say there was no shot.
Well, they're going to take it out of bounds well after the shot.
Wow. So it won't be free throws for Mason Darrell. He's making his case to the referees.
Coach Swan is definitely pleading over there.
I've never seen that happen before. But there's a first for everything. Darrell will shoot a 3 off the back iron. Bryce Peters, offensive rebound. Darrell, second chance look. Got it that time.
Buried it. That didn't hit nothing but bottom of the net.
Crown Point, second chance look, starting to rack up against LC. They've had a really hard time keeping Crown Point off the glass. Aguilera had a 3 in the first quarter. That was a tough pass. Geller Abel got to it. Billmeyer, head fake, down the lane, throws it up, and Billmeyer with 4 points.
Yeah, Billmeyer, nice take against Shaw right there takes him to the rack and buries it.
Kingston Rhodes back out there. Played about half that first quarter and sat for the rest of it. Crown Point just easing him back into the starting rotation after coming off of an injury where he missed 9 games.
Yeah, definitely got to build your win back up after being out for that long.
To the short corner. Darrell catches it, corner 3. Left it short, got his own miss. His second look just off.
Yeah, nice rebound by Geller right there. Lake Central going big.
LC's just trying to find somewhere to go with it, and somehow that all worked out. Lost the ball, threw it behind his back while falling down, and Noah Inyart scored 2 points.
Good no-look pass right there.
Just how they drew it up for David Aguilera. Get everyone looking at him falling over and not worry about the leading score for LC. Rhodes will try his luck, and Kingston Rhodes with a triple.
Boy, they've been getting some nice looks right around the top of the key and burying them all.
When Crown Point can get hot from downtown, they're a really hard team to beat. It's Crown Point had a loose ball. LC ends up back with it. 3-pointer, and it's missed. Bill Meyer is open in the corner. Peters throws it to the corner. Rhodes attacking the lane, and he'll get a left-handed layup. No one was there to stop him.
Well, the defense rushed out to him, and he split the coverage and went beautifully to the basket. Nice left hand take.
Timeout, Lake Central, as Crown Point leads by 24 points. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay right here. And just want to remind everyone that Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point athletics and say, "Go Bulldogs." Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Enjoy open skate at the Timothy Gurish Ice Rink at Bulldog Park through February, weather permitting. For a complete schedule of hours, visit crownpoint.in.gov. Andrew Mild and Jay Simmons on the Region Sports Network. And Jay, Crown Point just feels like they're getting hot at the right time, right at the back end of the season. 2 more games to go after this before they go into sectionals. Just to remind the fans that Crown Point has went to semi-state back-to-back years, and this group is still very much here.
Yes, and they're well experienced. You can tell by the way they play out there together. They do a nice job passing the ball and moving to open spots and getting great looks. Pocket stolen right there by, who was that?
That was Mason Darrell with the cookies.
Darrell.
And Molaski cleans up the mess.
What? Mason Darrell just picked a pocket right there.
26-point lead for CP. Martinez against Molaski from downtown. No. Shaw, the board. Shaw with 10 points in that first quarter. Rhodes, transition triple. Off to the right. Peters cleaning up the glass in this first half. Darrell, corner 3. Rolls out. Molaski will give Crown Point a third chance. And Martinez commits the foul on Bryce Peters.
That's one of the problems when you play a zone defense. You don't really have a man to block out. And if you leave your area of the zone, that leaves a vacated spot for the offense to take advantage. And Crown Point hit the boards hard that time offensively.
Crown Point will get a third look in this possession. Shaw, line drive 3 off to the left. He didn't get any of it.
Just a little bit outside as a baseball call?
Yes. If Shaw was on the road, he'd be hearing it right now. Luckily, he's at home, and his team is up 26 points. So the only thing that will look like at the end of the game is a missed field goal attempt. Pick and roll. Enyart spins around and lays it in.
Nice job, Enyart, making himself available for an easy pass right there.
Enyart with 8 points. Shaw, redemption 3, missed. And it's Peters again, causing havoc for CP. Shaw into the corner. Wilson with a shimmy shake. Back out to Shaw. There's nowhere to go for Wilson. He was closed off. He's got to get out of that lane.
He's planting a tree in there.
Spin move. Shaw gets a man in the air. He's fouled as Geller came down on him. Shaw, and that's an underrated part of his game, Jay, is that Dikembe Shaw can generate contact and get to the line. We said he scored 15 points in his last game against Valpo. 8 of those were from the charity stripe.
Yeah, he's great at taking the ball off the dribble and creating contact. And I have to say one good thing from Evan Geller. He made sure he didn't get the old-fashioned three-point shot because that ball didn't go up above his waist. If you're going to foul him, make sure it's worthwhile, right?
Shaw, certainly one of the better Crown Point basketball players in recent memory, especially for recent memory for Crown Point basketball in general between boys and girls. They have been incredibly good as the girls team will be playing in semi-state tomorrow. We'll have that coverage here on the Region Sports Network. The three is buried by David Aguilera, his second triple. Michael Bradner will be on the call tomorrow. Good luck to them.
I was just going to ask you, you know who's on the call? And nice shot.
Bryce Peters. He's doing a little bit of everything for Crown Point. He's getting steals, he's getting rebounds, and now he's knocking down shots.
He's having himself a blue-collar type of night.
Peters, the Maryville transfer. The LC looking discombobulated in this possession. And a steal ultimately by Caden Rhodes, trying to find it down low. Caden to Kingston. Kingston with a layup. Strolling right down the lane and playing in the paint.
Yeah, right down Main Street on that one. Split the defense, got a great open look.
Main Street or Broadway? We are in Crown Point.
Okay, yes, one of those.
Martinez navigates through traffic, and he will add to his total. He's now up to 5 points. A steal. Aguilera looking up. Shaw didn't contest the shot. And Aguilera with 5 points now.
Aguilera let go of that ball about a step sooner than he'd normally do.
Yeah, he threw it off the top of the window, the very top of it.
Yes, he did.
Under a minute in the first half. We have a commissioner's corner for you. And then me and Jay will be back to break down the first half, get you set for the second.
Also a score.
Peters lost the ball, regained it, and Bryce Peters is having himself a really impressive first half.
Also a Strachan Van Til scoreboard update on the other games.
Well, we have LaPorte at Portage and Valpo at Chesterton. And surprisingly, Valpo and Chesterton's score was extremely low. I think I saw Valpo only had 6 points already in the second quarter.
What third inning, you said?
30 seconds. Crown Point up 26. Now it's Chesterton 32, Valpo 9 with a minute 40. The foul is called on Reed Kagi, it appears, the way that Kagi reacted to the call by former Crown Point Mayor Dave Urand. It's on Caden Rhodes.
Yes.
And then at the half, LaPorte up 6 against Portage. That game being played at Portage High School. 25 seconds left. Inyart, bad pass. Luckily, Martinez was able to run it down. Geller on the wing. Gets it to the corner. 3 on its way, and it rattles home for Christian Martinez.
Yeah, nice shot right there by Martinez. Spins around and washes in.
23-point game, 3 seconds. Peters at the buzzer. Nothing but net. Crown Point scores 54 points in the first half, and Bryce Peters on his senior night swishes it home. We will take a break. We have a commissioner's corner for you, and then me and Jay will break down the first half, get you set for the second. The score here, Crown Point 54, Lake Central 28. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly conversation about Indiana high school sports with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Now for an up-to-the-minute report about what's happening in the constantly changing world of high school sports, here's Commissioner Paul Neidig.
Welcome into the Commissioner's Corner. It's our weekly conversation with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. I'm Brendan King. Paul, always great to be with you. And Valentine's weekend here in the state of Indiana, an auditorium, lots of swimming, and boy, girls swimming just wrapping up. Paul, Carmel winning their 40th state championship, and now that's going to set the table for boys swimming and diving at the end of the month.
Yeah, we had a great weekend with the
with the girls meet at, again, beautiful facility at IU Indy with an auditorium, and our kids, they get to celebrate their state championships in world-class facilities, and that was just another one. We had a great meet. Carmel won their 40th. Fort Wayne Carroll was on their heels. We actually had a tie for second place, first time in the history of the girls meet between Fishers and Fort Wayne Carroll. So great meet, and here we go. We're going to do it again in 2 weeks for the boys.
Feels like every weekend is a new adventure for you guys, and boys wrestling is coming up this weekend at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Now, of course, a different setup than the usual hardwood inside Gamebridge that you're going to have for the girls and boys basketball state finals. But the wrestling state finals, getting that at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, how unique of a situation is that?
Well, it's a phenomenal event. We loaded the semi this morning at our office to take the mats and all the equipment we need for the state championship. And again, it's an incredible state championship. I know Jason Willey's working hard to put the facts together, and we've got multiple state champions returning from this year. And I think he shared a little in our 285 or our heavyweight division. We have 3 undefeated wrestlers still going for state finals, and so it's should be a heck of a weekend. And if everybody wants to watch wrestling, get out there and join us at Gamebridge on Friday evening. It's punch your ticket round on Friday night. You have to win to go to the championship day on Saturday, but it's going to be a great day of wrestling.
Paul, let's talk about some hoops. Girls semi-state coming up this weekend. 4A locations, LaPorte and Jasper. 3A, it'll be Logansport and Southport hosting. 2A, it's Frankfort and Greencastle. And in Class A, Huntington North and Charlestown are the hosts. So you pair that, Paul, with the boys basketball pairing show coming up on Sunday. Busy time of year, as mentioned, for you and your crew. It's always a busy time of year, but when you get into your board meetings this time of year with both the boys and girls basketball state tournaments going at the same time, what planning does that take?
Well, there's a lot. You know, we do have a board that is elected by our school to oversee this administration. You know, we have 19 people that are elected by our member schools, and we keep them informed with the tournament. And, you know, they approve the officials listing, or at least they look at that along the way and see whose officials have applied, and they approve the dates and all the other things that go into the state tournament. And so our staff is happy to work for a great board of directors that are really focused on education-based athletics.
This time of year is something we really haven't talked about before, reclassification. And I know, you know, it takes an army for you guys to figure out, you know, who's going where, all parts of the state. Can you just detail, first of all, the process of that and what goes into it?
Well, it's a very involved process. We're in the middle of that right now. And we actually have a consistent date that we use annually, and we use our fall, our September 1 count date, they call it, our ADM, and we use that to classify our schools. And so that happened last September. The state runs those numbers first, and they release them to us. And we're in the process now of putting those into individual classes. And, you know, we have a committee coming together in the 1st of March that'll come to the office that'll look at all of the tournament alignments based upon the movement we had. And once we get that done, then we'll take it to our board a little bit later on in the year for the classification cycle for next year. But the way we do it now, I do think there'll be a lot of consistency in tournament participation, or at least sectional opponents from year to year. There will be some slight adjustments, but we'll see how that goes. And we're excited to be able to put that in. And there's certainly a lot of prognosticators out there trying to figure out who's going to be in what class and what changes are going to happen. And I would encourage people to wait until we release it before they jump too far into that process.
Indiana's own version of bracketology, if you will,
right.
around March Madness. Paul, appreciate the time. It's the Commissioner's Corner. We'll talk to you next week.
Very good, Brendan. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Commissioner's Corner with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig, and thank you for your continued support of the high schools in your community.
At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll name the Crown Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. Crown Company's the insurance professionals.
You got a couple candidates right there. Dikembe Shaw, 12 points. Bryce Peters having a great night, has 10. Continue on, Andrew.
Next up is the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game. Earn while you learn with Boilermakers Local 374.
And Jacob Billmeyer for Lake Central looks good right now.
Him and Noah Inyart got off to some pretty good starts, but it was Billmeyer that continued to stay hot in the second quarter, trying to keep LC in it, but they're down 26 right now to Crown Point. And then finally, it's the Proud to Be Union play of the game, and that is sponsored by Ironworkers Local 395. To find out how you can become a union iron worker, visit ironworkers395.com.
Can you bring up that three-pointer at the buzzer for us?
This is On-Site Generator Solutions replay.
Yeah, Bryce Peters, just as time expires, just decides, you know what, I want to make it a little bit bigger of a lead and buries the three as the buzzer goes off.
I'm happy that's your leading candidate because that was a player I wanted to really talk about going into halftime was Bryce Peters, because for me, Bryce Peters is what you would call a glue guy, a guy that whenever Crown Point needs someone to facilitate, needs someone to rebound, play defense, score, it's Bryce Peters who's that jack-of-all-trades type player. And early on, he was the person that was crashing the glass. I mean, he brought his Windex. He was cleaning the offensive glass in that first half. And then he started to feel himself scoring-wise, hit a couple of threes. And like we said, Bryce Peters got injured in their last game. It was really important for Crown Point to make sure that he stayed healthy and he was able to play this game against LC. He certainly looks like he's at 100%, Jay.
Yeah, definitely, especially the way he's playing defense and crashing the boards. I don't know if it was his ankle or his knee or what that he was injured with, but it looks like he's back to 100%. And then, again, how many extra guys does Crown Point need?
Oh, my goodness.
You know, pick these guys up as the season goes along, whether come back from injury. You know, you got Kingston Rhodes coming back off a 9-game injury, and he's playing limited minutes. And when you're gone that long, yeah, you need to just ease back into it, especially when you're up by this much. And if you're a little sore or tender in a certain spot, then yeah, you just got to build up that win and build up that strength and build up that confidence to make sure you can extend yourself.
Well, I'll say one thing, Jay. This Crown Point team did not have a lack of confidence in that first half. I will say that they were oozing with confidence. The way they were shooting the ball, they were attacking the LC defense. LC's got to find some answers defensively as they allowed 54 points in that first half. But we talked about Noah Inyart and Jacob Billmeyer. We both understood for them to stay in this game with Crown Point, they're going to have to play very well offensively. And by no means, I did not think LC played bad on the offensive side of the ball. A few times they got sloppy with it and got lucky that the ball rolled to one of their teammates. But other than that, Billmeyer and Inyart really impressed me.
Well, the thing is, yes, for Lake Central, those two guys really impressed me as well. What impressed me was that Crown Point defense, cutting off the passing lanes, cutting off the driving lanes, and extending the defense full court and making Lake Central wear down as that second half or that second quarter went on. So Lake Central's got to come up with one, I think, a little bit better of a press breaker. And secondly, they've got to be able to get into their offense. They've gotten open looks, Andrew, and they just have not been able to bury those open threes. And they've got to shoot a lot better from the three-point line, draw that defense out, and then go into Noah Inyart.
What really impressed you about Crown Point in that first half?
Oh, everything.
I mean, that's a good answer, really.
They played fantastic offensively, moving the ball, not settling for the first shot, 3 or 4 passes at least almost every possession. And then when they got it into the open court, they made Lake Central pay for it by either taking it to the basket or kicking it out and burying the open threes.
I enjoy watching Crown Point play because they are a mixture of the new school brand of basketball and the old school brand of basketball. We're going to use the pass to break down your defense, but we're also going to play fast and make you make decisions defensively. And I can't tell how many times I saw a Crown Point player hit a three and then get the ball again and head fake. And what happens to that defender? They have to respect the three-point shot. They get into the air, Crown Point penetrates, and they get the layup.
Yeah, Lake Central back into their 2-3 zone.
Shaw right in the middle of it. Shaw gets contact, rises up, misses the bank shot, and a jump ball will be called, and it will belong to Lake Central.
For a second there, I thought Dikembe Shaw picked up his second foul.
By Crown Point being up by 26, Shaw still playing hard. The LC breaks that press. A runner, and it rolls in for Cooper Cronky.
Cronky with his his 5th point of the night.
Went behind the back, went right down the lane, contested shot, not an easy one, and got it to go. 24-point game. Bryce Peters had 10 points in that first half, had a couple of threes. Rhodes penetrates, went to Peters, and Peters took his eye off of it.
Lake Central doing just exactly what they need to do. Play some great defense, take the ball to the hole, and Noah Inyart just could not finish it against Cooper Mulaski.
He went sailing over the iron. One more pass, Rhodes, 3, rattles home. Kingston Rhodes, welcome back to the senior. He had 25 points against Hamilton Southeastern earlier this year. He walked away with the Crowd Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. He has 11 points in the box score. Mulaski, tough contest. This time, Noah Inyart does get harmed, and the senior will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, shooting 71% on the season. First time he went up there, went 0 for 2.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising for both of us. Inyart, a double-double machine, 26 and 11 in the win against Hammond Central. He gets the first one to go. That's a good start.
Yes, he's had a great season up to this point. Filling the shoes of a scorer that Lake Central needed.
And you and I said that LC might be last in the DAC, but I got to say, this is the most competitive DAC season I have ever seen. And any night, someone could beat one another. And surprising that some teams that were used to being really good haven't been good this year. Darrell drains the corner 3.
I think the biggest surprise of the season was Portage coming out 14-0.
Yeah, their first loss was here at Crown Point, and then they just dropped a game to Chesterton last week. As Crown Point leads, Chesterton in second, Portage is in third, and then you got Maryville, Valpo, LaPorte, Michigan City all at 2 and 4, and LC at 1 and 5.
Yeah, Portage has lost their last 3 in a row.
And it's been tough for Portage. They won some really close games to start the year. That one against Valpo was certainly a fun one, the way that it ended. A 1-point game, buzzer beater by Kobe. And Crown Point took care of business against them a few weeks ago. A pick set for Cronky, and he shot it from downtown, left it short to hit the iron. But that sectional 2 is also going to be really competitive. That one being played at Chesterton. From way downtown, got it! Mason Darrell.
Crown Point continues the hot shooting from everywhere.
The entire starting lineup might have double-digit points by the end of this one. Pull-up 3, Bill Meyer, and he fills it up.
Bill Meyer just sort of walked into that one and just chucked it up. Nice shot.
Darrell from the volleyball line. Stop it.
Wait a minute. I was looking for the rebound, and Lake Central just threw it away.
A friendly roll for Mason Darrell, who has hit 3 threes in this third quarter. And now he's the leading scorer in the game with 16.
And now Lake Central just getting sloppy on bringing the ball in bounds.
Crown Point lead by 31. 4 more points for a running clock. Rhodes gets the screen, goes up against Inyart, double team, finds Darrell. Darrell, step back, thought about it. Rhodes cuts, finds him on the baseline, and he'll get an old-fashioned three-point play.
Nice feed right there from top of the key. And Kingston Rhodes just backdoor cut right there, open under the basket.
Just look at the scoreboard right now, Jay. 4 of the 5 starters are out there, and 4 of them are in double digits. The only one is Cooper Mulaski, but Mulaski is more of a rebounding defense guy. But Rhodes with 13, Darrell with 16, Peters with 10, and Shaw with 12. Rhodes misses the free throw. And Crown Point laying out for the loose ball.
The motor just doesn't stop for the Bulldogs.
Rhodes off to the left. Crown Point being up 33. That 3 right there would have made it a 36-point game. That means running clock. And now we're starting to see the bench move to the scorer's table. It will be a line change for Crown Point. Shaw jumps the passing lane. Shaw, the steal. Shaw rocks the rim.
And brings the house to its feet.
A one-handed slam for number 23. And that clock will keep on running.
Great defense leads to easy offensive points, and Shaw put the exclamation point on that one.
Baseball pass. Martinez hits the back iron. Crown Point 70, LC 35. Pick and roll. Rhodes down the lane. Rhodes misses it, which almost feels shocking the way Crown Point's been able to shoot the ball in this third quarter and overall in the game. Tough take, and Bill Meyer put too much on it, going for the bank. Peters pushing the tempo. Rhodes is hit.
Geller picking up the foul there.
That was Rhodes going around traffic. Good head fake. Geller came down. I can say that Kingston Rhodes also looks like he's 100%. But the question, Jay, is for
yes.
Kingston Rhodes is, despite him missing those 9 games, you got to wonder if he's been healthy for a minute, but Crown Point wanted to make sure he was at 110%, understanding that, yes, they would love to have Kingston Rhodes out there, but they rather play it safe for the postseason.
I definitely agree with you. I'm sure they held him back in practice. They pushed him a little bit because nobody looks as good when you come off a 9-game injury. That's for darn sure. And the thing is, now you got some other guys a lot of playing time, and now they're up to par and feel comfortable out there. So now you've got a couple other extra guys coming off the bench for Crown Point. You're going to be 8-9 deep as you go into sectionals.
It'll be Kingston going out and Caden coming in. Caden Rhodes, his twin brother, was the player that was starting at point guard, and he filled in the shoes perfectly. As you said, he had a really big game against Portage. MJ Wilson looked like he might have slept, but he had no choice but to foul Noah Inyart and just send him to the line.
That's strong defense by Wilson, just a little overmatched on the blocks by Inyart.
Yeah, Inyart listed at 6'3", but he is strong. Dikembe Shaw, he's strong himself. He was having a hard time battling with him down low. And Inyart not too pleased with himself at the charity stripe today.
Yeah, sort of looks up to the ceiling on that one.
Nothing more frustrating when you're missing your free throws. Inyart must have found the answers up in the ceiling as the second one was drained. Usually how it works, right? Maybe the ceiling said, follow through. Use your legs.
That's right.
I never found the answers in the ceiling. That's why I'm up here, ladies and gentlemen. That will be a double dribble on Nathan Truhowski.
Yeah, we're going to have to break out the full depth chart here.
You're right now out there for Crown Point is Jack Lux, Caden Rhodes, M.J. Wilson, Reed Kagi, and Nathan Truhowski. Truhowski, a junior forward, listed at 6'6". Had 1 rebound and 1 foul against Valparaiso. Inyart misses the bunny.
Yeah, Lake Central just couldn't throw a bucket in the ocean right now.
It's amazing how that basket can at times look like the Atlantic, and other times it looks like a mouse hole. Maybe a keyhole.
There you go. I like it.
Crown Point deflected the pass. It goes out of bounds. And pending an incredible run by LC, and the clock will be running despite the ball going out of bounds, Crown Point is 10 minutes away from winning a outright DAC championship. And, Jay, we haven't really talked about it, but the one thing that when you look at a team that's ranked number 2 in the state, there's an X on your back. You are marked for the rest of the year once that preseason poll comes out. And you got to wonder how that's going to affect a team. Is it going to make them play harder, knowing that the other teams are going to want to upset them, or are they going to fold under pressure? And I think a lot of people, especially Crown Point fans, were concerned that after their 14-point loss at 21st Century that someone found a weakness. They're about to win their 3rd straight game by double digits, and convincingly in their last 3 and their 4th.
Yes, and you know what? I think and I'm sure Coach Sloan won't admit it, but I'm sure he's glad they lost one before they got into the playoffs, because maybe their heads got a little bit too big. They got a little bit too overconfident. Well, this brought them back to earth, and ever since then, they have been playing lights out.
Yeah, me and Michael Bradner were talking about that, how teams lose a game midway through the year. It's sometimes it's their wake-up call as Jack Lux makes the mid-range jumper from the elbow. And they certainly have. This has looked like a completely different Crown Point team, because you even look before that loss against 21st Century Charter, they were in some really tight games against teams that they might consider lessers.
Yeah, especially the game right before that. They barely beat LaPorte 48-42.
And Crown Point scored over 50 in the first half in this game.
Yeah, at LaPorte, yeah.
Yes.
And in the game before that, they played Chesterton. They beat them by 22. So it's it's a roller coaster team, but it's a long season.
It is. It's a long season, and
you're gonna have bad nights somewhere along the line.
If you have
for a great team,
and that was the problem, I think, for Crown Point, is if you had a bad night going up against teams giving it their all, you're going to find yourself down 10 points, and you got to rally back, and that's what really happened against 21st Century. They ran out a lot of steam in that fourth quarter, and then the Cougars ran right past them and got the win.
And just think about it. This is everybody's Super Bowl that's this gets them on the schedule and sees them ranked in the state.
Geller misses the layup, and Enyart on the left block tosses it off the glass. Enyart with a steady 15 points tonight.
Yeah, he's been the shining light for the Indians tonight.
3 seconds. Via three at the buzzer, and it's no good by Truhoski. Crown Point has a running clock going into the fourth. They lead it by 34, but we'll stay right here as we're about to watch the Region Sports Network hats get launched into the crowd by the Crown Point cheerleaders on their senior night.
Well, hopefully they remember.
Yes. I got to say, there's some high-quality hats. I snagged one for myself.
Let's see if the coach remembers.
It's also a good time to do it with how cold it is today.
How about it? Oh, there they go. There, I see some hats being.
Have you ever caught anything at a sporting event like this when they launch into the crowd?
Haven't.
Whether it be a foam basketball, football hat.
Oh, there we go. There goes some RSN hats into the crowd. Definitely going to need those as you make your way out of here tonight. I think you said it was, 13 degrees?
13 degrees. And I will say the old Midwestern saying, it wouldn't be as cold as if it wasn't for the wind. Shout out to Chris Ramirez, our executive producer, for purchasing these hats and somehow getting it where the Crown Point cheerleaders chucked it into the stands. That's called good marketing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is.
Busy day and a busy weekend on the Region Sports Network. 3 games tonight. You're tuning in to Crown Point against Lake Central. Crown Point 8 minutes away from clinching an outright DAC championship. And then tomorrow, Crown Point girls on the road playing in semi-state. 2 wins away from going to Indianapolis.
A busy weekend for Crown Point sports. I think also they have some wrestlers going into the state competition as well down in Indianapolis.
The state started for wrestling. MJ Wilson with an opening layup. Of course, it wouldn't be a wrestling season unless Crown Point sent a couple of them down to Indianapolis. As Crown Point sports has evolved, let's not forget that the wrestling program was really the one that was running the show for a long time here in the hub of Lake County.
And it seems like it's all interconnected because Coach Bazia, I remember talking with him throughout the season, and he just goes, man, I love wrestlers on defense.
Yes.
He goes, those guys are tenacious, and the thing is they love contact. They love to tackle out there.
And they know how to gain leverage.
Definitely.
D-line or O-line. Can I tell you how many times you'd be watching the Enyart went for a slam, and it looked like it might have been deterred by Truhoski. Wilson ball ripped away, and Kagi ends up with it.
Yeah, it looked like Enyart might have hit it off the back of the rim.
So he almost had a poster. A foul's called. It wasn't too long ago either Jay, where Crown Point girls basketball did win a state championship. That was when they had Lily Stoddard and Jessica Carruthers. They're a really good team.
Solid.
And this Crown Point team, as we said, they've gotten very close. A couple of semi-state appearances, winning back-to-back regional titles. But both times they lost to the same team, that being Fishers. And Fishers, as I checked the last time, they were 19-0. They've only lost one game the last 2 years. And that was the state finals of last year. So that is a perennial powerhouse that Crown Point has to try to navigate around if they do indeed three-peat at regionals and get to semi-state.
Yeah, Fisher's program has taken off, and they are good. How can I sum it up in one word?
How about fantastic?
That's there you go, better. You topped me.
The immovable object. Good move, Enyer off the window. 17 points for the senior. Still having himself a night offensively. 6 minutes to go. Crown Point will have a game against Hammond Morton. They have 2 road games to close out the year. It'll be Hammond Morton and then Hanover Central. And then for LC, they'll be awaiting for Selection Sunday to go over to IHSAA Champions Network. Wilson fouled. They'll have games on the road against South Bend, Washington, and McCutcheon.
A little bit of travel there for the Indians.
There's a Selection Sunday coming up at 5 to 7 Central Time. Both these teams will find out pretty quickly, with it being Sectional 1. Sectional 2 being played over in Chesterton. And, Jay, it's my favorite time of year. I love Hoosier Hysteria. We're winding down to girls basketball. We'll be finding out who is going to state tomorrow. And then boys basketball is starting to head into their Hoosier Hysteria. And as we said, the DAC has been really competitive. Teams making adjustments, could be seeing each other again in sectional play. So who knows who's going to rise, who's going to fall, who's going to find themselves in regionals.
Yeah, definitely. You got to look at Sectional 2 with Chesterton, Portage, Hobart, Maryville, and Valparaiso. That one's top-heavy, just as you look at Sectional number 1 as well. You got Lake Central, Crown Point, Munster, Hammond Central, and Morton. Again, 2 teams playing here tonight that probably, if you seeded it, those 2 teams would be at opposite ends.
MJ Wilson, bad pass, turnover. And Crown Point getting the win tonight against LC. They'd be 3-0 against teams in their sectional. Morton being the last team they need to play to see if they can go 4-0 against those sectional opponents. And it'll be here, so it's going to be a packed house.
Yes, it is.
I was here when Crown Point hosted it, and they played Valpo when Grant Galon and Sasha Stevanovic were still on the Bulldogs. And that's when Crown Point won in overtime. But Chesterton was also there a few years ago when they
made their run to the state.
But that's when they lost to Crown Point in the sectional championship game, right at the end of their incredible gold standard run, where their 2-star players were heading out the door, and they lost a really tough game to Crown Point. And that's what really started Crown Point's run these last few years.
And we also got another scoreboard update. I mean, it's Hoosier Hysteria everywhere. You got Purdue just coming out of the half. Purdue 48, Indiana 32.
Rhodes and Lux, the 2 seniors that were still in the game, head off the floor. We see Crown Point send out more bench players. That Portage LaPorte game has really gotten good. 1-point game with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That Portage team, they remind me a lot, and I know it's a football reference, but the Chicago Bears, where they don't play great to start the game, and then they really pick it up in the fourth. And then for Valparaiso, it's a 35-point game. They've managed to get to 26 points. Chesterton has 61. I mean, they had 9 points midway through the second quarter. And for Valparaiso, it's been one of the more stranger years I've seen the Vikings have, where there's times they look like the Vikings we all know, where they play great basketball, team-oriented, looking at the details. And there's other times, like tonight against Chesterton, where it feels like they can't get into a rhythm.
Yeah, I have not seen them play, but just looking at the box scores, it just seems like they're on a roller coaster throughout the season. They play a couple good games, then they play a couple bad games. So it seems like they just can't put the pieces together to be consistent throughout the season. Sort of like Lake Central when they popped out 6-0, and now all of a sudden they've been struggling throughout the season.
Yeah, there was a few times I've broadcasted Valpo games where they went on some really good runs. That was against Penn and 21st Century Charter, and they'd land their own haymaker, and then the opposing team would hit a haymaker of their own, and they would go right down to the mat. Crown Point ran down the floor, and it leads to 2 points. That was Carson Boomsma. Enyart with 19 points. He scores in the post. 2 minutes to go. We'll have the post-game show. We'll hand out some awards and some thank yous.
Yeah, Enyart with 19 on the night.
As Crown Point is 120 seconds away from celebrating a DAC championship. They've shared the last two, but this one will be on their own. The last time Crown Point did that, you'd have to go back to 2016, 2017. So about 9 years since the last time the Crown Point Bulldogs won an outright DAC title. Layup missed. But I got to say, Jay, for Purdue basketball, they had a really tough month of January.
Yes, they did.
But all it takes is for them to get hot in February or they're right back in it. But that Big Ten conference is not going to be easy to play against. They have some really good teams, especially at the top with number 1 Michigan.
They just annihilated Purdue the other night.
They made it to the national championship game, right, before they lost to Florida?
Yes. They are deep, and they are long.
Yes, that's what I remember about last year's team is how tall they were. But Nebraska's had a good year. I know they've suffered some losses, but you can never count them out. Illinois has been around the top 10 for most of the year. And then you always have to look out for those West Coast teams. You never know what a West Coast team is going to do when they don't have to travel all the way to their next game. I mean, UCLA, USC, Oregon, Washington.
They almost make like a week road trip of it.
Yes. Into the final 30 seconds. Crown Point leading by 35. They've scored 82 points. And their starters have not played this fourth quarter. Mostly bench players. And even deeper into their bench, some JV guys are getting to play.
Well, I think I remember number 30, Liam Bazin, had like 20-some points in the JV game. He's out on the floor. He had an awesome game for the JV team in their victory.
Yeah, Liam Bazin, the son of Mr. Bazin, who was my government teacher when I was here at Crown Point. Well, Jay, the DAC is ran by CP. They are the undisputed Doolin Athletic Conference champions of the 2025-2026 season. They're now 7-0 in conference play.
So what you're saying to me, Andrew, is they're the top dog in the Doolin, huh?
Crown Point Bulldogs improved to 18-1. They've won 4 in a row, all in convincing fashion. Jay, this team looks unstoppable right now.
Yes, they are clicking on all cylinders. And the thing is now, with the way they're playing, they have extended their bench to a couple other guys that they can really put in a lot of minutes. So they are deep. Then they can extend the speed of the game. They are just playing unbelievable right now.
For LC, they'll drop to 10-10. And they'll finish conference play at 1-6. They just could not stop Crown Point's offense. There's no other way of saying it. And LC played sloppy at times offensively themselves, especially with how good Crown Point's press is.
Yeah, and a lot of turnovers by Lake Central, leading to a lot of easy points for the Bulldogs throughout the game.
We'll take a break. We'll come back, give out some awards, some thank yous, and wrap up tonight's broadcast as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
At Blyce, We're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.
When it comes to your money, you deserve more than just numbers on a page. You deserve someone who sees the full picture. Meet Mark Machnick, one of Northwest Indiana's most trusted accounting professionals. Whether you're running a business, planning for retirement, or just trying to make sense of tax season, Mark Machnick, located in Highland, makes it simple, personal, and believe it or not, painless. Contact Mark and his team today at 219-595-5290. Mark Machnick, CPA.
Sick of winter? Golf season is almost here. Book the cabin and enjoy the region's best all-inclusive private golf getaway, featuring 2 rounds at Innsbrook Country Club, plus dinner, breakfast, and cozy lodging, all for just $500 per person.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point athletics and say go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Enjoy open skate at the Timothy Gurish Ice Rink at Bulldog Park through February, weather permitting. For a complete schedule of hours, visit crownpoint.in.gov. The Crown Point Bulldogs clinch the outright DAC championship in convincing fashion. Andrew Mild with Jay Simmons, and it's time to hand out some awards. The first one, the legendary Crown Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. Crown Companies proud to recognize the superheroes on the basketball court. Jay?
We're gonna go away from what we usually do every game. We're gonna go with Mason Darrell, 17 points on the night. Did a great job defensively, hitting the boards offensively. I don't know what can you say, but how deep this team is in terms of scoring. Any guy on any given night in that starting lineup for Crown Point can throw in 15 to 20 points, along with the Dikembe Shaw getting his quiet 17 to 20-some points every game. So it just, to me, it shows how deep this team is. And secondly, if you try and take away Dikembe Shaw, you've got a plethora of guys that can score as well.
Next up is the Blue Collar Player of the Game. That is sponsored by Boilermakers Local 374. Learn about apprenticeship programs and more at local374.org. And Jay, it's Noah Inyart, who had 19 points tonight.
Yeah, great game in the losing effort. But Lake Central doesn't have anybody else that can help him out in terms of scoring. So Lake Central's got to figure out some ways. They've got to start hitting the threes, because they had several open looks that would have kept them in the game, and I don't think I saw any of them go in. So they really struggled from the three-point line tonight. But Noah Inyart, the shining light for the Indians with 19 points.
And then finally, we have the Proud to be Union Play of the Game. That is sponsored by Ironworkers Local 395. Go to ironworkers395.com and start your future as a union iron worker. And it's the Yam from the Dikembe Shaw. Let's see it on On-Site Generator Solutions replay.
Oh, and great defense leads to some easy points, and Shaw with the exclamation point.
On his senior night, Dikembe Shaw and the Crown Point Bulldogs win, and they clinch that DAC championship. 2 more games to go before they host Sectional 1 of the 4A division. And a quick scoreboard update brought to you by Strack and Van Tills. LaPorte and Portage down to the final 20 seconds. Portage down 3, and they just took a timeout after some really good defense by LaPorte. Those are the 2 games we did. Also, one more was Valparaiso and Chesterton. Don't need a scoreboard update on that. The Trojans blew out Valpo at home. Those 2 will be playing in Sectional 2 in a few weeks. Don't forget tomorrow, Crown Point the Region Sports Network hitting the road to watch Crown Point girls basketball play for a semi-state. Tip-off is at noon. You can also catch the wrestling action going down at Indianapolis. From our executive producer, Chris Ramirez, operations manager, Rich Castillo, the very famous coordinating producer, Zach Miller, who was on the news yesterday, being at the new Chicago Bears site in Hammond, Indiana. And that's Miller with 2 eyes. And sports director himself, Mike Dewan. Special thanks goes out to the coaches, Ryan Sexton and Clint Swan, the athletic directors, Chris Enyart and Bill DeRula, who's retiring at the end of the year from Crown Point. And, of course, our viewers at regionsports.com, YouTube/RegionSports, Facebook/RegionSportsNation, and the IHSAA Champions Network. From our camera operator, Thomas Marsh, our producer, Zach Sinelli, my partner, JB Simmons, I've been Andrew Mild. This has been Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Tonight's broadcast is made possible by Strack and Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Crowell Insurance Company, the insurance superheroes. Ironworkers Local 395, proud to be union. Four Seasons Mechanical, quality and comfort is our guarantee. Boilermakers Local 374, earn while you learn. IBEW Local 697, proud to support high school sports. Bricklayers Local 4, the best hands in the business. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. The Right Group, the right way to buy and sell real estate. Mark Macknick, Chicagoland Tax Professionals. Blythe's Team Sports, where the athlete shops. And Hampton Inn, downtown Indianapolis. This is the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.